So what if a fashion show, wasn't just about the clothes? What if it was about history, art, maybe an entire city's legacy? Imagine a runway where, like, ancient ruins meet modern couture, where every single stitch tells a story centuries old. Today, for you, our discerning listener, we're doing a deep dive into something that really went beyond the typical runway show. Dolce&Gabbana's Alta Moda 2025 collection. It recently transformed Rome into this, well, unparalleled stage. And this deep dive, it's based on a pretty detailed report we got from Hot Highlights Maison. They really laid out the whole experience.
They really did. And it's true what D&G orchestrated there. It wasn't just about unveiling a collection. It felt much more like a profound cultural dialogue. It was a masterclass, really, in how true luxury isn't something you just see, it's something you deeply feel. This was, well, a magnificent declaration. You could almost say a heartfelt tribute, woven in silk and gold to the Eternal City itself. And it's important, I think, to remember this was actually their very first Alta Moda presentation in Rome, a big step in their ongoing grand tour of historic places.
Right. So for you, especially if you're someone who follows luxury fashion closely, our mission today is kind of to peel back the layers, look at the artistry, sure, but also the strategic brilliance and, frankly, the sheer audacity that made this particular event a genuine cultural phenomenon. We want to get beyond just the look of it all. When I first started reading about this, the setting just jumped out at me immediately. Rome. A city where, every ancient stone seems to whisper tales of emperors and artisans. And then Dolce & Gabbana choose that as their backdrop and the Roman Forum as the main stage. It feels almost audacious, doesn't it? What drove that decision? Why that specific spot for Alta Moda?
That's a really great question. Because the choice of the Roman Forum, it wasn't just symbolic. It was foundational, really key to the whole thing. Domenico Dolce himself put it perfectly. He said the Roman Forum is the beginning of Rome, the sacred road, the starting point from which everything happened. So by choosing that site, D&G, they infused their designs with this profound sense of timelessness, of enduring legacy. It elevates them, beyond just a fashion house. They position themselves almost like guardians of Italian heritage.
Guardians, yeah.
And for their clients, it fostered this incredibly deep emotional connection. It sort of transformed them from just patrons into, well, true collectors of cultural experiences. They're not just buying clothes, they're acquiring a piece of shared history.
Collectors. I like that. It's more than just buying a dress. And as if that wasn't enough drama, the whole triumph of beauty, as they called it, started even before the main event. It kicked off with this grand overture on Via Veneto. At the iconic Westin Excelsior Hotel, I read that the entire street was just meticulously transformed, like really transporting guests back to those legendary Roman evenings of the 50s and 60s, complete with vintage cars, classic Vespas, their polished surfaces reflecting paparazzi flashes. Sounds like a movie scene, doesn't it?
It absolutely was, very cinematic. And what pushed that pre-event over the top, really, was the surprise appearance of Cher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the music icon, Cher. At 79 years old, her performance just infused this already unforgettable atmosphere with just a wave of profound emotion. She captivated everyone. 3 striking costume changes, too. Started with a platinum blonde wig, army green jumpsuit under a sparkling corset, a little nod to her song for the lonely. Then her signature black hair, flared trousers, a bold red corset bodice, black lace, ruffled train. Dramatic. And she finished in this dazzling black bedazzled catsuit. Now, this wasn't just entertainment, right? It generated huge media attention, and it amplified that aspirational allure of the whole experience, linking D&G to this sort of timeless celebrity glamour.
Right. But beyond that, the exclusive guest list, I thought it was really interesting how they also kind of extended the celebration to the public with the secret Dolce Vita exhibition curated by Adorno Dionia Ciccone, a public photographic thing, millions of unseen negatives, making the city's splendor accessible for a few days. Does that kind of public engagement, though, even in something ultra-exclusive like Alta Moda, does it risk diluting the brand, that exclusivity factor that's so key to luxury?
That's a fair point, a really valid question. But I think D&G navigated it quite masterfully. This initial gathering, plus Cher, plus the public exhibition, it all came together to craft this all-encompassing experience. It skillfully blended nostalgia, celebrity power, and that public engagement piece, creating this multi-layered narrative. It wasn't just about clothes. It was about a lifestyle, a dream. It was very sophisticated interplay, between aspirational desire and the allure of the, well, unattainable. The public part, like the exhibition, it actually amplified the mystique, the desire for the exclusive Alta Moda event itself. It didn't really diminish it.
Ah, I see. So it builds the buzz without lowering the bar.
Exactly. It fosters widespread interest while carefully preserving that super high level of exclusivity.
Okay, got it. So after this incredible prelude, the main event finally unfolds, July 14th, Roman Forum. That must have just been breathtaking. I can only imagine what it took to get permission, from the Ministry of Culture for a private fashion event in a public space like that.
Right.
So historically profound.
You're absolutely right. It was audacious.
Yeah.
And getting that permission from the Ministry of Culture and the Archaeological Park of the Colosseum, that was an achievement in itself. Required extensive negotiations, I'm sure, a deep commitment from D&G to ensure it wasn't just a spectacle, but, a respectful homage.
Mm.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, thinking about luxury experiences, what happened on the Via Sacra, the Sacred Road, was extraordinary. It was reimagined, like a bustling theatrical pathway. You had toga-clad senators mingling.
No way.
Yeah, imposing gladiators, graceful dancers, eloquent poets, all moving through the crowd, mingling with guests like Isabella Rossellini, Cher, Christian Bale.
Wow. Even Erling Haaland, the football.
Even Holland, yes. The collection itself was designed specifically to, quote, interact with the archaeological landscape, turning memory into modern style and antiquity into inspiration. So it created this living tableau. Much more than just a static runway, it transformed the whole presentation into an immersive theatrical production. Past and present, really intertwined.
It's almost hard to properly picture it, isn't it? A runway in the Roman Forum, described as a golden runway of goddesses, armor, and empire. And the soundtrack, too. Compositions by Andrew Swarbrick, setting up the tents, joy of spring, grand celebration. Sounds like they really built an entire world, evocative, cinematic.
They absolutely did. No stone unturned, as you say. And that's really key to understanding the strategic brilliance here. The Roman Forum wasn't just a pretty backdrop. It was an integral participant, an active co-creator in the storytelling. And that elevates Alta Moda from, say, a commercial display to a true cultural phenomena. It made the clothes feel less like fleeting trends and more like precious artifacts, part of this grand unfolding saga. This really sets a new standard for luxury presentations. It shows that the ultimate luxury isn't just the garment itself, but the context, the narrative it embodies.
Okay, so we've got this incredible setting, the amazing pre-show spectacle. My mind immediately jumps to the clothes themselves. How did they possibly translate this grand vision of Rome into the actual garments? What were the sort of core themes tying it all together?
Well, what's truly fascinating here, I think, is the remarkable thematic unity they achieved. Even though they were drawing from so many rich sources, you had ancient Rome, obviously, but also that quintessential feminine grace of the 1950s, the golden age of Italian cinema, and critically, always that unwavering commitment to fatto a mano, their signature handmade artistry. That was the thread running through it all.
That makes sense. Okay, let's talk about the architectural grandeur that came through. I remember reading about a Colosseum-inspired coat, the silhouette echoing the arches, done in meticulous gold stitching, right? Paired with a complementary domed skirt. And the Spanish steps, kind of cascading down a swing coat dress with delicate applique, a sequined coat capturing the Trevi Fountain's splendor, Pantheon references in structured shoulders, imperial silhouettes. It really felt like landmarks woven into fabric.
Exactly, like wearable architecture. And then the myth and legend pieces took it even deeper, more symbolic. The opening look, really powerful, was adorned with the mythic statue of the she-wolf nursing Romulus and Remus.
Wow, the founding myth right there.
Direct, iconic link. And then there were these 4 pure white gowns, a tribute to the priestesses of the Temple of Vesta, just ethereal creations, transforming the female form into, like, living sculpture, evoking divine purity, timeless grace, a really striking contrast to the more opulent pieces, grounding it in ancient ritual.
And the sensual craftsmanship and modern opulence, that was clearly on full display too. I read about their signature sensual lace dresses, but reinterpreted. Translucent evening wear, covered in this breathtaking cascade of silvered flowers or just smothered in mosaics of gold and silver beading. Gowns with coiled pleats on a strapless dark red midi dress, and that bold interplay, strength and softness. These ornately decorated breastplates, gilded brass, but worn with surprising lightness over, like draped chiffon or huge feathered skirts. Inspired by Roman soldiers' armor, apparently.
Yes, that mix was key.
And of course, hand-forged corsetry, intricate Romanesque beading everywhere on corsets, hobble dresses, even a founded cape, stiff with decoration, then like a seamless blend of fierce and delicate.
It really was, and that meticulousness went beyond the clothing. We can't forget the accompanying alta gioielleria, the high jewelry, equally stunning, narrating Rome's grandeur through gold, vibrant gemstones, featuring mosaics, bas-reliefs, microsculptures. There was one particularly notable piece, a choker, with hand-modeled classical figures crafted from marble
A
powder.
marble powder. Incredible.
Right, and this raises an important point, I think, especially for luxury enthusiasts like you listening. How each garment, each piece of jewelry, it really transcended being just clothing. They became these meticulously crafted narrative artifacts. The designers were acting almost as cultural interpreters, transforming historical mythological narratives into wearable art. So the wearer wasn't just getting dressed. They were embodying a piece of Roman grandeur. And that deeply resonates with that collector mentality we talked about for automotive clients. They're acquiring a unique piece of art with real historical weight, making these pieces genuine investments in cultural legacy, designed to be cherished, passed down.
Wow. So the multi-day celebration didn't stop there. It continued with the Alta Sartoria show on July 15th, dedicated to men's hot tailoring. And this moved to another iconic spot, Ponte San Angelo, the bridge, and the piazza in front of Castel San Angelo. Did they carry that same blend of history and design into the menswear?
Absolutely. This collection was a profound homage to ecclesiastical tailoring. It was actually a collaboration with Rome's renowned Sartoria Dorelli.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. One really striking piece had a bodice inspired by the Apostle St. Peter, meticulously sculpted from fabric to look as substantial as marble, including the face, hair, the keys.
Out of fabric. Amazing.
Incredible craftsmanship. Another highlight, a gold filigree chest piece, entirely hand-embroidered with gold bullion thread precious stones, a tribute to solemn vestments, with a central cross like you'd see on ancient reliquaries. The show itself felt like a solemn procession, really emphasizing the historical weight, the reverence that permeated the whole week.
So when we kind of pull back and look at the core of D&G Alta Moda, what does this all really mean? For luxury fashion, and maybe for you as a discerning client, it seems like it always comes back to fatto a mano, that handmade artistry. Italy's distinct answer to Paris's haute couture.
Precisely. And for Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana, Rome proved to be this, well, endless wellspring of inspiration, a living muse, constantly fueling their creative vision. This deep connection between the brand and Italy's rich cultural heritage, it was also highlighted by that Dal Cuore alle Mani, dolce&gabbana exhibition at Palazzo Esposizioni.
Ah, the exhibition again.
Yes, spanning over 1,500 square meters, showcasing more than 200 textile masterpieces, really inviting visitors to explore those artistic influences from the heart, as they say, to the hands.
And that steadfast focus on fatto a mano, it's more than just a design choice, isn't it? It feels like a significant cultural, even economic statement.
Oh, definitely.
By championing these traditional Italian artisanal skills, they're actively, preserving a precious heritage, especially in an era of such rapid industrialization.
Yeah.
And this commitment, it doesn't just validate the exclusivity and the high value of their collections, it also strongly appeals, I imagine, to a global clientele seeking authenticity, seeking unique craftsmanship, enduring luxury in a world that often feels so mass-produced.
Absolutely. And what's truly fascinating here, stepping back even further, is how the entire event became a transformative moment for Rome itself. It reinforced the city's image as a capital of luxury, sure, but also of cultural heritage, contributing significantly to its culture, its tourism, its economy. This positioned Dolce & Gabbana not just as a leading fashion house, but almost as a standard bearer for Italian excellence, embedding the brand within this timeless tradition of meticulous artistry and, well, national pride. It's a reciprocal relationship, you see. D&G elevates Rome, and Rome elevates D&G.
So to wrap up our deep dive then, Dolce & Gabbana's Alta Moda 2025 in Rome. It was magnificent. Yes, bold, definitely a spectacle. But more than that, it was this meticulously crafted narrative. It went way beyond the usual boundaries of fashion. It celebrated Rome, past and present. It wasn't just a collection. It really was a cultural event.
Yeah. I think in a world that's often so preoccupied with fleeting trends, what Dolce & Gabbana demonstrated here is that true style possesses an eternal quality. It was a powerful affirmation of Italian heritage, of timeless elegance. Ultimately, it wasn't merely about the clothing. It was about an aspiration, a dream woven into every single stitch, making each piece part of a larger living history.
So as someone who appreciates luxury fashion, maybe think about this. These grand presentations, they're crafting more than just garments. They're weaving these intricate cultural narratives. They're transforming historical sites into living art. And they're inviting you, the collector, to acquire not just clothing, but a tangible piece of an enduring legacy. Makes you wonder what other industries beyond fashion could maybe learn from this incredible blend of heritage, spectacle, and artisanal craft in today's market. Something to think about.